Okay. Well, hi, my name is Vanessa Hoyes, and I'm an independent brand partner with LifeWave. And I get to host conversations, what we just call stories of light. I do it most weeks with some of our brand partners that have been patching, some just for a little while, some for months, some for the last few years that we know personally. And these stories and these testimonials are purely for the purpose of really bringing hope and maybe some eyes wide open to some options out there for people in the wellness space. This is not just about people with health challenges, although you'll hear a lot of those stories. We're talking about a small little patch that looks literally, it's on the back of my neck, looks like this, looks just the size of a 20-cent piece. And what this patch is doing is those little white crystalline structure inside there is acting like a mirror, and my own heat and light is basically touching that like a mirror, and that mirror is reflecting a frequency of light back into our body that's elevating a copper peptide that's known to switch on dormant stem cells and increase the longevity of our cells and age reverse certain organs in our body just using light frequency. Quite a common thing these days, sound frequency, light frequency, but to have it in a patch, not have to go somewhere for light frequency therapy. This is a patch that is around about $5 or $6 Australian a day to be using, and it is a light technology that is taking the world by storm. So when we tell stories today, we're just telling stories of what individual bodies are doing and how they're responding when this light frequency begins to elevate this peptide. And basically, when those stem cells wake up, they'll just go to any area of your body that your body sees as priority. So it's like it just triages those stem cells, triage your body, decide what's priority. So when you see this video later, you might want to say to one of your friends, could my body do what Joanne's did or Sandra's or someone's sharing? And we're going to say your body will begin to do what it was designed to do, given this light therapy that is now being every day emitted back into your body. But your body will do unique things. So we're not going to make claims today. So I'm just going to share a slide just to formally make that declaration that we are not trying to diagnose, treat, or cure any disease or saying we're doing that. We're just saying when light enters your body, some pretty incredible things begin to happen. So that's what we're doing. Everyone's body is different, so we always encourage personal responsibility and professional medical guidance when making your own autonomous health decisions. So I love to put both in there because you absolutely need to find trusted practitioners of all different types to track with you on your health journey and your health focus. But also, you have a lot more agency and autonomy and power to make decisions. There is nothing invasive with this technology, nothing going through the skin or the brain or the blood barrier. This is pure light frequency that is beginning to enter your body. So we'll tell a few stories, and we're excited today to introduce you to my long-standing friend, Joanne, who's going to share a little bit about her patching experience with this X39 patch. Thank you so much, Joanne.
Thanks so much, Vanessa. It's such a joy to be here with our patching community. My husband and I, we were first introduced to these patches nearly 2 years ago now. Can't believe it's been that long. But our experience, and I'm sharing what our experience is and the way that the patches have interacted with our unique bodies. And I was looking for something to actually support my husband's body. He had been through some horrific health challenges, and he'd had two major operations, and he went from a man who was able to walk 20,000 steps a day in the job that he had to not even being able to get out of bed, having me to help him out. And it was such a real challenging time for us. So I was looking for something that would just really help and support his body when I came across these patches, and I contacted Vanessa. And we talked through it. She sent a information website to me, and I'm a one that does like to do a little bit of a deep dive and a bit of a research into it. I looked at all of that website. I saw the patented technology. I saw the scientific studies that sat behind it. I understood that it was non-transdermal, which meant that nothing was going to go through the skin barrier, which was really important to us because my husband was actually on quite a lot of medication at the time. So I understood then that it wasn't going to interfere with any of that medication. So my response to my husband was, let's do this because it can only help. Even if it does just a quarter of what it says, it's going to be helpful to us. So we embarked on this patching journey. And as we did, we started patching. Obviously, Vanessa was walking the journey with us and helping us to know, the best things to do in terms of, keep well hydrated because our cells need all of that hydration to really, activate properly. So I guess for my husband, within 2 weeks, I noticed this morning like he actually got out of bed without me assisting him, which was, I mean, that may sound such a little thing, but when you've had a husband that's been fit and healthy and gone to having to help him out of bed and helping him dress, that was a huge thing for us. So within 2 weeks, we saw that he got out of bed, he was able to dress himself, and I was noticing more and more that he was needing less and less of my assistance. So within about 6 weeks of patching, I came home from work one day and I noticed that the lawns had been mowed. And I'm like just sitting in my car thinking, who did this? I went into the house and I said, honey, who did the lawns? And he said, I did. And he said, I did the whippersnipping as well. And like he said, and then I thought, I'm just going to go and wash the car. And I'm like, I'm nearly at by this stage, like my eyes are like saucers thinking, what? This is incredible. So, within the first 2 months, we saw some incredible changes for him, his energy levels, and, he has a major, things that he's dealing with. So his journey is still ongoing, but we know without those patches, like he would be in a very, very different position today to what he was, 2 years ago. So we understand that. For me, it took a little bit longer. My adrenal glands were totally shot because I have a very high pressure day job. And I also was caring for my husband who had been in and out of hospital and major operations. And so I was, my stress levels were kind of through the roof. And it took me about 2.5 months. And at that point, all of a sudden, I noticed this change of my energy levels. I was getting up in the morning, not just dragging myself out of bed, but actually, wow, I was ready to tackle the day. I noticed that my sleeping had changed, and I was sleeping deeper, and I was really, feeling that I was feeling at that point the change and the shift in my body. So every one of us, we actually, we respond in different ways. And my encouragement to people who have started the patching journey is always, there are those that have a quick result. Like I feel like my husband had a quick result within that 2 weeks. It took me longer, but I understood the technology and I understood it was worth, that journey and sticking with it and every day doing that routine. My family is on the patches as well. So we went all in for this and we patched all of our family. And that was just such an amazing thing because we saw some great results for my daughters, for my daughter-in-law. She had just, some arthritis in her body and just how the pain had gone and a number of other medical issues that she'd noticed differences in as well. So, we were just totally switched onto this technology once we understood it, once we used it. It was a game changer for us. So we are just so incredibly grateful to have been introduced to LifeWave and to these patches. And I guess, then for us, the added addition to that was that we also saw an amazing business opportunity with it too.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. I'll never forget the day that we always joke like you are the easiest like person to partner with because once you saw the videos and for the website that Joanne is referring to, if you do watch this later and you haven't seen any other presentation, although we do say to you, if you're going to circle back with the brand partner, get them to show you a whole informational video because we don't cover all that here. But the website that Joanne is referring to is thisisitinfo.com. And that is there is a website that you can go to, thisisitinfo.com. And as she said, it's got a page on what is light therapy, how does it work, interviews with regenerative doctors. Page 2 is the patents and the testimonies. So they were important for Joe to deep dive into. And then all the testimonies. They are US based testimonies, but we use the sales site globally, the information site globally. You can't go and buy from that site. You need to circle back with the brand partner that does introduce you to this opportunity. They're going to get you the best prices. But what happened is with Joanne, when I had the call, immediately she knew she'd tried this technology with all her family. And I love that part of Joanne's story because we say that quite often. We were the same. There was 10 of us patching straight away. It was our family, 4 girls, my husband, myself. It was both our mums. It was my dad and it was my auntie. And then it was my sister. And it just kind of grew from there. And so coming in at what we call the premium pack, where you can get like 20 months supply, get that for about 6 people for 3 months each. And all of a sudden, you are literally getting so shocked. And I think we were back and forth so often, Joanne, like, could it be doing this? Yes, that's the patch. Nothing else has
Yeah,
changed, right? So it was just so unique for everyone's body, wasn't it, for you?
absolutely it was. And we can't tell our stem cells what to do or the cells that are regenerating, but it knows what to do. Our bodies are incredibly, fearfully and wonderfully made, and those cells that need to be regenerated, they can, make such a difference in our body that knows how to heal itself if it's given the right signals.
Yeah, that's awesome. And now you're brand partnering with us on our team, sharing with others. And I know you work a job, like you said, a very heavy responsibility job, but it is in the people helping profession. Just will you quickly let us know what does the business side of it mean to you? Like, what do you see this as for you and your family?
Well, I see it, Vanessa, as we had been actually really looking for something that would be in the next season of our life. You know, what I'm doing, I'm in an executive role and it's something that I love, but I also know that there's a next season for us. And so we were looking for what that next season may look like. This opportunity, because of the technology, because it's a patent technology, no one else has it, because I love people and I love helping them, it ticked every box for us. So this is something that will give me, time freedom in the future. It will give me a residual income. And the great thing is that it will be doing something that I'm so passionate about in the wellness industry, and I love this space. So for me, every single box was ticked, and we were in it boots and all because we see the incredible opportunity that this is.
Yeah, amazing. So again, circle back with your brand partner when you hear this, because they're going to say, do you just need this for your health? Do you need, I don't even say health challenge. We often talk about just health focus because we have really unwell people and really elite athletes as well at their top of their game, like just wanting that 1% edge, that quicker recovery time, all those things. So it's whatever health focus you have, talk to that brand partner. But if you say, you know what, I'd actually love to at least bring in enough by sharing with a few people that it covers my own investment of patches. Again, you're looking at like 3 months supply for 500 Australian dollars, 6 months supply for about 900, or a large family pack for just under 3,000. And so you can recover that investment by sharing with some other people, and the company will pay you referral and commission money. Others of us, like Joanne saying, for her, it's like a long-term thing. For my husband and I, it's replaced two household incomes over the last 2 years. Not overnight. It's a beautiful compounding effect as teams grow and impact happens in many places around the world. Think about the fact that you can share this with people in over 100 countries, which is so powerful for me to think about, that my friend might have a sister in the UK, and it just kind of spreads like that so that this message of hope can get out there. So definitely have that conversation with the person that shared this with you. We're going to now hear from Sandra. So thank you, Joanne. And we are going to hear from Sandra and just a brief story of what it's been like for her and some of her community as they've begun patching as well.
Yeah, thank you very much, Vanessa, for this opportunity to express the things that I have witnessed for myself and the people that I have actually reached out to. I've got quite a few stories, but for myself personally, as soon as I heard my stem cells were dormant from age 60, I was like, oh, heck, I'm 61. That means I haven't had a year with my stem cells. And I just couldn't wait to get the patches. Could not wait. So that was all I did. I didn't do one bit of research. I was just like, made sense to me. I was like on. So I couldn't wait to get them. I'd struggled with a sore neck the whole day because I do about 4 or 5 hours of Wing Chun Kung Fu every week. So my shoulders get really, really sore. And I put the patch on. I couldn't wait. I put it on that afternoon. And within probably half an hour, I'd actually forgotten about my arm. Sorry, my shoulder. I was like, gosh, it's not even hurting anymore. That's amazing. But within 4 hours, I actually got a sore throat. And I went into a bit of a detox. But oh my gosh, on the seventh day, I was like Lazarus. If you know anything about Lazarus in the Bible, he rose from the dead. And I was just, oh my gosh, it was like chalk and cheese, black and white. I felt amazing, and it's just continued. And it was about 2.5 weeks in a patching. I was coming home from Kung Fu, and I actually felt like I was 16 years old. I was like, this is ridiculous. I cannot remember feeling this great. Well, I can't tell everyone I feel like I'm 16 when I'm 62 now. So I say, well, I feel like I'm 35. And that's how I really feel. I absolutely love it. And so anyway, I've always had bronchial asthma most of my life, and I can take the deepest breath now, and I don't have any issues with the breathing. My skin was getting a bit taggy, like little bumps all over my sort of my lower area and dark spots. And that's actually really healing, which is amazing. And I banged my left lower calf and toe probably about 4 or 5 times on furniture over the years. And I had that much tingling, like, it was just, I mean, it's still a little bit there, but compared to what it was, it's really diminished. Yeah, and sleep is fantastic, so good. Now, my partner, Eric, he actually said to me yesterday, I haven't had a rash this year. And it's the first, I've known him 18 years, and it's the first time that he has not had a rash on his arm this summer, ever. So I said, it's got to be the patches. I mean, you haven't done anything different. He still smokes and enjoys a bit of a drink. So it was like, Eric, what are you doing? That's amazing. And he had a cyst on his, in the middle of his chest that he's had since he was a kid. It was like you could visibly see it. Now you've got to actually like find it. Like he has to find it. So that was amazing. And then my two brand partners, and she rang me yesterday and she said, Sandra, I was on the strongest medication was offered to me for rheumatoid arthritis, the strongest. Her doctor said, you will be crippled and your bones will curl in. She's a Christian and she prays, but she's been patching 4 weeks. She rang me yesterday and said, I don't ache. Like it's halved compared to what she was. She hasn't had a Panadol or a Nurofen. She used to live on them. And she said she has a bursitis in her left elbow. And she said if she touched that, she would like just be in agony. She said, Sandra, I can push on it. There's no pain. And I was just, Thank you. Thank you. That is just wonderful to hear that feedback. And then one other lady, she was Maria. She dibble dabbled with the first couple of weeks of not patching consistently. And then she actually bought a new pair of shoes, and she thought it was the shoes that made her feel like she was no pain. And then she put her old shoes on. She said, "Oh my gosh, I still don't have pain." So I caught up with her for a swim the other day, and she said, "Sandra, I have no pain. It's just amazing." And she said, "I'm standing straighter." And she did. I could see the difference in her face from when she first patched. And we took a photo and then another photo. So she's just so happy. I've just got like just so many stories that I could keep sharing. And Matt, he was like couldn't go anywhere. He would go to the gym, sit there, look at his phone for 5-10 minutes, trying to get the energy to go inside for a gym session, and you just go home. He wasn't working. He long story, but in a nutshell, it's turned his life around. He's working full time. He even worked 17 hours on the election day, and that was 6 a.m. till 12 midnight, and he knows there's no way he could have done that. And everyone's saying, "You look so good, Matt. You look so, energy and everything." So I just, yeah, it's look, you can go online and look at, information that is negative. However, the proof is in the pudding. You try it for yourself and then say it doesn't work. But you've got to be consistent. You can't just dabble for a week or a month and go, "Oh, it didn't work," or 6 weeks or 2 months. No, I mean, you don't know when your brain is replacing your brain cell. You don't know when your blood is flowing all through your body. You don't feel that. So this is below the surface. It's working in the background, and you've got to understand that, because just because you don't feel anything, it doesn't mean it's not working. You don't feel your heart beating, do you? I mean, if you put your hand on your chest, you can, but otherwise you don't feel it. So I'll be forever grateful and forever on X39. And yeah, I'm just so thankful, because I was not going to go on that Zoom that day. And I just said, "Come on, Sandra, you haven't been on it for a while." Put the Zoom on, and Vanessa and Andrew presented. And as soon as I heard my stem cells were dormant by age 60, I was like, I need that. So, so my goal is to stay out of nursing homes. I worked in hospitals 42 and a half years, and they're not happy places. And if this can help me, my body heal itself and be well and in quality of life, any day over quantity. So thank you. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sharing. And your stories now are not only personal, I love it. Now they're collective, and because you're choosing to share and so diligently too. And I love what you said. People can go and Google the word. You'll see some people complain of they didn't use it for long enough. They didn't have anyone supporting them as they were patching. If you look on Amazon and eBay, they are not the real deal. That's always a compliment when fakes come out of anything, right? But they are not the real deal. You need to buy these from a brand partner through LifeWave, because there is also like a 30-day return on product unopened, and 90 days if you're a customer. So there are some real ways LifeWave will support, and it's pretty exciting what's happening here in Australia and New Zealand. So we've got more collective testimonies we can share. But just as we wrap up this call and this recording, if I can just say, this is how you get started. You will need to reach out to someone that basically shared, like honor the flow of this information and how it gets to you. Circle back with that person, and they will show you a package option that you can get started. I'll just finish up by saying that, as Sandra said, long-term use is going to see more and more impact. But we definitely say minimum 90 days before some of that data-driven results, like around bloods or urine samples or, heart health tests, that's when you'll start to see some noticeable differences. So 3 months minimum, which is about 500 Australian dollars, 6 months supply. You could have 2 of you doing that or a few of you doing that. It's a better price on the 6 months, around 900. And then there's an 11 pack. So sleeve means there's 30 patches in a sleeve. So like a little envelope that it comes in. And then the premium is like the large pack. It's also where you can really kickstart having enough to have like a little rolling stock. So in our neighborhood, when we got going, a friend who we got going with basically had one delivered to us straight away because Australia Post was going to be over a week or so. So just we got started earlier because they had some stock on hand, and then when ours came in we gave a month's supply back to them, so that becomes like a rolling stock. And talk to your brand partner about what this means, what would suit your budget, and how to really get started patching. So to Joanne and to Sandra, thank you for sharing your stories of light. And again, we don't make any promises or claims, but what we do say is your body is designed to heal itself. So thanks for being on, and circle back with the brand partner who invited you.